Hey, welcome to Route 66, day number 111. Yeah, I had to make sure. 111 we're doing today. And we're going to be in a low point in Elijah's life. But it's good because I think that all of us from time to time go through disappointments and heartaches, and we feel like we failed, and we feel like, what's the use? Even the greatest go through those valleys. The best of us do that, and even Elijah. So we're going to find that out. We just have 2 chapters today, but they are really, really good chapters. Well, all the chapters are good, right? Hey, but these sometimes hit home. 1 Kings chapter 19. We're going to do 19 and 20 today. Chapter 19, Elijah. After the dramatic victory on top of Mount Carmel, Jezebel, Ahab's wife, the queen, says, I'm going to kill him. And Elijah runs, fearful of what's going to happen to him. Now, I don't know about you, but that just doesn't seem logical that he was not afraid of 450 prophets, but he was afraid of one queen. But he did, and he ran, and he feels alone. He feels defeated. He asks God to take his life. What is my life worth? I'm not any better than anybody else. God meets him. I love this. You read it. Not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a still small voice, a gentle whisper. God reassures Elijah, you're going to be okay. He gives him rest. He gives him food. He sends him back. He says, I'm going to give you somebody to help you. I love that story. I love that story. Chapter 20. We find out that King Ahab is facing the king, Jezebel, the king that Elijah was against, faced an attack from another king of the country of Aram, Ben-Hadad. Despite Ahab's disobedience, God gives him some victories to show that God is still the Lord. Even though Ahab did not honor God, God gave him victory. However, Ahab disobeys by making a treaty instead of destroying him, and a prophet declares judgment is coming for his failure. So we find he's true to his order. He does not follow God's commands. So what are some lessons? I think a good lesson that we can learn from these 2 chapters is that God often speaks the loudest in the quiet moments. Still your heart. I don't know about you, but we live in a world that likes a lot of noise, and that we can't hardly have quietness. But God often speaks to us in quiet. That's why a lot of times we call our devotional time quiet time. But then we also find out is in chapter 20 with Ahab and Ben-Hadad, God's mercy doesn't excuse disobedience. God was gracious and merciful to Ahab, and when he disobeyed, it didn't go any further than that. Faithfulness is what God wants. Never mistake temporary success. I've had people say this, well, you know what? Everything seems to be going good. Nothing really bad happened to me. That's not always a good thing, because if you are not obeying God, it's going to end up bad for you. And that's what we're going to find out with Ahab. So continue to do good. God grants mercy sometimes to the worst of people. But God's mercy, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't obey God. We should always do what God says. So enjoy the reading today. I think you'll get it.